I love my Mojave. Do you? Man, a pile of worn out, broken parts, toasted wheel bearings. Here's a few tips you can use to get in there, tighten up the rear end on your car, and get her handling like new. Welcome to the shop. Now you can see where the magic happens. Having a good place to work on your car is important. Having the right tools is important. Here's the car that seems to get worked on the most. We got the Mojave EXB. This is going to be a quick tour of the Mojave and show you some things that we've done to it to increase durability and improve handling. So, first off, we just use a wooden box as a stand. It keeps the tires off of the workbench. It makes it easy to turn around and adjust how you're working on it, and really useful. This guy made the box. And so here we've got Mojave EXB. We beat on this thing pretty regularly and pretty hard. The first thing you might notice that jumps out is these mud flaps. We just carved up an old body that was laying around and secured them with some screws. They're not as fancy as the scorch fenders, but they really work quite well at keeping rocks out of the chassis. I do put foam in my body mounts. The front body mount, I haven't had as much trouble with the front break-in as the rear. The rear body mount, at first I was getting breakages here, maybe back here, and then when I went to a full piece of foam similar to like what you see here all the way out, I started getting my breakages shifted from here to actually breaking here. So I ended up going to a narrower piece of foam, and that's reduced the breakage significantly. It lets the flex here absorb more of the impact. So that's been a good change. You can see with the rear bumper, a lot of guys like the T-bone racing bumper. I've got one of those and I ran it for a while, but I saw pretty fast deterioration of the body with that. The way the body and the bumper is designed, they're really designed to work together, and the body and the bumper kind of interface to prevent it from prevent the body from cracking and breaking down. So if you can run the stock bumper, I recommend that. We are running bigger wheels and tires, the 3.8 Badlands and the backflip LPs. I've broken one of each, so that's why I got a mismatched set, but it doesn't seem to matter. I've had to drain and refill my shocks several times. The oil just gets abused and dirty and nasty, so it's a good thing to switch out. I do run a heavier weight oil with the bigger tires, 710 CST instead of the stock 550. My most recent project, and I'll include a screenshot of all the parts that I changed out, was refreshing the rear end. They didn't have all the parts I was looking for, so I didn't get it all done. But my goal was to really tighten it up. There was a ton of slop that, you know, right now you can see there's not really that much. But you got to get in there. You got to change your wheel bearings. I changed out my hub carriers. You want to put new link ends on the upper link. I ended up replacing my sway bar linkage stuff as well. Mine were so bad that it wouldn't even stay on anymore. But all that stuff really helped to really tighten it up. There are a bunch of small plastic balls inside the shock right here, in the shock end down in here, and you know, wherever you've got those small plastic balls that get wear, you want to replace them, and it'll help tighten up your rear end. You'll get better handling, quieter running, and just kind of get the car closer back to running like it did when it was new. So yeah, that's it. There's an overview of my Mojave. Not too many modifications. Truck's a beast, extremely durable. Been very, 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 very satisfied with it. I do highly recommend getting a good set of tools. I wish I would have come around and spent the money on good MIP drivers years ago, but I've had these for, I don't know, about a year now, and they're just fantastic. I can count the number of screws I've stripped since getting them on one hand, and it maybe would only be 1 or 2 fingers. So the good drivers are key. Making sure you got some Loctite on the bench so that your metal to metal screws don't come out. And a little bit of oil for oiling your bearings. I should do it more frequently than I do, that way my bearings wouldn't blow up, but yeah, so that's about it. This thing is all tuned up, and battery's on the charger back there, and getting ready to go. So yeah, enjoy.